All right, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome once again to another edition of Off the Deep End with myself, your host, Emmy. Tonight I'm having another evening with Ivan Teller, channeler extraordinaire of the ET beings, the spirits, and basically everything else. Our focal point for tonight is that we're going to see if he can channel a being that can tell us about the angel's role during the time of Orion. Apparently, their actions during that time significantly impacted us now. So we're going to find out about that. But without further ado, welcome, Ivan, to the show.
Oh, greetings. Thanks for being here again.
Thank you for being here again.
Yeah. All right. I'll bring in somebody from the angelic realms, or feels like Archangel Michael comes through. It should be interesting. Might be
Yay!
a couple other. We'll see how things go. So,
He's like the captain of the football team.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go. He has his own bumper sticker somewhere. If you have that, you made it. So that's good.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I'll see you later. So much love.
Okay. And once again, Ivan is connecting. He is channeling Archangel Michael, hopefully, and we're going to talk about the angels during the time of the wars in Orion.
Greetings.
Greetings.
This is Michael. Hello there.
Greetings, Archangel Michael. Welcome to
Yes.
Off the Deep End. We're happy to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you. Yes, if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them about your Orion situation.
Yes, I'd like to know what the roles of the angels were during the Orion Wars, I believe.
It wasn't a good place for many. Yes, your Earth got saturated by many beings that were not angelic, and many that even your aliens, your ones that were protecting your Earth, were having a invasion during that time. Where many of the angels, where they were fallen angels, but they were more, Zeta, mostly actually Zeta, but there were actually reptilian humanoids also that came to your Earth, and many did become part of your planet as for population, to add to your population, you can say. As for possession of many beings on your world, as for DNA infusions, adding to your strangeness of your planet, as for making it more complicated than it needs to be. Anunnaki also was very much involved with this. That caused a transition on your planet that took your world into a direction of not much pleasantness. The Dark Ages, it brought it into that, or many did not know who they were, and humans were enraged, but they did not know why, because of the many, as humanity was being transformed by other extraterrestrials.
Well, that's really interesting. So did this happen right, I want to say did this happen like a few thousands of years before the time of Jesus Christ, for example?
Happened during then, but also during your, what you would call the Dark Ages then also. There were different times of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, during your times of Christ, yes, that was a one version. That was one visitation from your aliens that were depicted as fallen angels. Was there also one after that? That's where your Dark Ages began. It was another invasion, basically, from your so-called fallen angels. Yes, yes, go ahead, please.
And is that why the Dark Ages were depicted as they were, or
Yes.
was that the Dark Ages because? Oh, okay.
Yes, because the human DNA was being manipulated at a great degree, where humans were not thinking clearly at all. War was all they can come up with.
And a lot of the church was very, very strict.
Yes.
Right? Very strict, and there was rules about how to depict, I think, Jesus or just humankind in a way. Like the art had to be a certain way, from what I understand. It could not be like it was in the 16th century, more multi-dimensional, depicting the human as they were.
Yes, it was a rearrangement of your planet also, where humans were also taken from one place and delivered somewhere else, even by your extraterrestrials. There was a extraterrestrial war going on your planet during your times of Christ, where it was depicted as Christ-like moments, but your aliens were battling your humans. And it is depicted in your Bible somewhat, in some ways, where your aliens were trying to be a part of humanity, take it over somewhere. Someone to be a part of it and didn't know how, so they made it their own. They took hostages, you can say.
Was this what was described in the book of Enoch?
Yes.
That's the one that not a lot of people read, apparently.
No. For good reason. It is not seen as true, but it's all seen as, yes, there's many truths there, yes. But it will never be brought into your churches. Not your conventional ones, at least.
Yeah, because we only have like two or three angels according to.
Yes.
Very interesting. So I understand that these people who were depicted as the fallen angels is a majority. Is that correct?
Majority of Anunnaki, yes, quite an immense amount of them were Anunnaki. Anunnaki was the most influential. There was also reptilians, humanoid-looking reptilians. Your gray also was involved. They're more of the shorter people, of course, because that is what they are, but they brought their DNA into your world. As many became very alien, human-like, where they had a lot of mental issues, and that was much from the gray DNA causing that.
I've actually seen some imagery depicted on the hieroglyphics of Egypt with, it looks like, spaceships on the walls, and then like little ETs, or then some of the pharaohs had like little ET guys, like their shoulders kind of thing.
Yes, it was. Yes, the amount of ETs around your history was immense as for being seen.
Mm-hmm.
Your governments here in the United States have made it impossible for that to happen in that scale. But if you did not have that, you would see more presence, yes. But they made it impossible for aliens to be viewed as they once were.
Right. I wonder why they want so much to suppress this information when there's so much that's being discovered that indicates that there is life on other planets. I mean, we have movies about ETs. And
yes, but they don't want their power to be removed, so they're going to put extraterrestrials as villain as long as they can. They realize that will not be successful forever, though.
Mm. Yes, I think that's going to wrap up soon, hopefully.
In time, slowly, it takes time also for humanity to eventually accept. Humanity for the most part does not fully understand your extraterrestrials. So there's much fear there, the fear has to be dissolved before your planet can fully accept your aliens.
We've gone under so much programming as far as for fear, as you know, we have so much programming to fear each other as it is. And then historically, I was just looking at our comic books and like our old movies, like the Twilight Zone and things like that, depicting like ETs in a negative light.
Yes, what was going on as for during your biblical time of your Book of Enoch, you could say, your Anunnaki, yes, came from the Orion Wars as refugees and procreated with your human. As for creating children with your human, they did not care what they were doing. Many of them were not thinking clearly. None of them were, because of, just like any other war veteran, they had to have somewhere to go also, because they were afraid of themselves being extinct also. So it was a transformation as for your arts also. And your, yes, society did go into a darkness. Yes, during your biblical times of your, before Yeshua arrived, it was already in place of this, of human separation from spirit. And that actually took spirit away from, took humanity away from spirit even more after these fallen angels is afflicted. So it made life even more difficult here than it had to be.
Horrible. And I understand that the human and the Anunnaki, that they created the Nephilim.
Yes.
The Nephilim. And I know that in large part, you know, there's a disbelief that these exist, but, you know, we're coming to find out that there's actually some remnants of these, not remnants, but some of these people in existence.
Yes. Is being suppressed. And most do not believe it is being suppressed, like your fairies are being suppressed, your elementals are being suppressed also. You can say your elementals are even told not to even connect with humanity. You can say it's even done by your governments. You can even say that.
Are they being bullied and not to connect with us? Oh, wow. That's really messed up.
Even
so
your fairies. Even your fairies are seen as, you can say, skeleton remnants of them are around in your world to prove of their existence.
I actually saw a video of a skeletal remnant, yes, very small, that was found somewhere in Peru or South America.
Yes, correct. Yes. Mm-hmm. Much of this is part of your government cover-up. Your aliens are government cover-up. Your elementals are government cover-up. They're well aware of all these things. And your planet goes on, majority of it goes on, at least your America for the most part. The rest of the world your China also. Your China is completely oppressed. Mm-hmm. So if you see it there, it's definitely happening in your American government and others also. Now, your Canada would be more awakened, and also your Europe, but they are told not to. You'd be surprised how, I would say your Canada, for example, is more open to a lot of these things come into your environment. Elementals, aliens, but they're told not to by your shadow elites. And they're threatened also.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. This was some time ago, but they continue that. They continue what they are being told. Yeah. And it's mostly your shadow governments are keeping a lid on everything, of course. Your public ones will not be able to handle it.
Yes, of course, they're not aware.
Yes, I have a bill about allowing elementals to vote or something. You never know.
Yeah, that would be... I'm sorry, you were saying?
They can't even figure that out, at least in your modern government system, at least in America.
Oh, yes, it's a mess over here.
Yes.
Yeah, I just got my mail-in ballot today, and I haven't opened that one yet. So
it's better not to.
Yeah, I was gonna vote for Donald Trump anyways. Yes. I used to not believe in the least worst, but I was like, okay, you know, whatever.
It is what you want it to be. Yes. We're not getting into politics. It's not our. It's up to your humans, not us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even conflicted. I just whatever will happen will happen,
Yes.
and I just wish the best for us.
Yes. That's not always the case, but yes, we hope so.
Exactly. So back to the Nephilim.
Yes.
Wanted to discuss this because some time ago I watched a video regarding a giant that was found in Afghanistan sometime in 2005. It was called the Giant of Kandahar.
Yes.
Was he Nephilim?
Yes, a descendant. Yes. Yes.
A descendant of the Nephilim? Okay. And that's another one that was where the information was suppressed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and those type of diggings, they do try to keep it as more conspiracy than true, but some do leak it out because they're getting tired of this. Humans not realizing what's going on. Also, your aliens have skeleton remnants. Your grays have been found, and there's others that have been suppressed also. Much of it is within your shadow government as for the answer of all of this, as for skeleton remains. So sometimes they are discovered, but humans don't really be able to, such as your Syrians have like fish-like scales and things of that sort are found, but suppressed instantly. For the
And
most.
there's another type of being. I'm not sure if, I think it's a merging of human and a gray. I think it's a laboratory created type of being. It's called Theta Reticuli.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is this a lab creation?
Was it Zeta Reticuli as a, well, they have their own race, but there are some that are lab created, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, always. Oh, yes. Your human does create aliens of their own to take to other worlds, yes.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Sometimes they are successful, sometimes they are not. Of course, the aliens know what your humans are doing. They're well aware of it, but it's part of a hybridization program that your world is doing, of course. And some of it's quite successful. Some of it. But your aliens know who is who. They're not fooled easily.
So back to the wars in Orion and what the angels were doing around that time. What all did you guys do then?
As for the angels of Orion, there was many, you can say, treaties that were open for allowing aliens to leave Orion. Some were actually kept there.
Okay.
Allowing aliens to leave and come to other worlds, such as this one. The angels of Orion have one moment. Some of that is suppressed information. One moment. But there are certain beings that were quarantined from this planet that was lifted, and those aliens came to your world instantly to add to your catalog of species. And it did quite advance it quite much. It was very well watched also. It wasn't something that was just happening with no control. But as for the angels of Orion, one moment. It is best to speak to one of them, actually.
Okay.
You can allow one of them to come through. It would be much more appropriate than me saying my side of the story.
Well, if you come back, we would appreciate that too.
Yeah, so tell me I'm leaving things out and leaving out the good stuff.
Oh, man.
It's best for them to, because I was not as involved as they were. There were certain angels that were. As for Earth, yes, it is more appropriate that way. All right, much love.
Thank you, Archangel Michael. Bless you.
Yes, take care, all.
Okay, thank you.
Greetings.
Greetings.
One moment. You can. I realize your humans need a name. You can call me now.
Hello, Mal.
Greetings. Yes, I am from your Orion's belt. Our species of angel were manipulated by many of your aliens, where we were taken into, where aliens were emerging with our energies, which hasn't not been seen before.
Yes, I'm trying to put that together in my mind.
It is possible. Higher dimensional beings that we were not even aware of took our energies and made us into an alien type of hybrid angelic being, where we were, many of the felines are very DNA precise, and to be successful with this. So many, you can see angelic, realize you see many bird beings with wings of angels. It is merged with the bird. Realize many angels do not necessarily have to have wings, but we merged with the bird, so we became a winged angel. That wasn't always the case. We were spiritual helpers. And this was depicted on your planet because many did come to your planet in that form. This is where you get your angel. Of course, there was angels before that. But some of us seeing them with their eyes, physically seeing a humanoid with wings. Of course, they see it in spirit. That was one of the things that happened at Orion. Where even the angelic realm was affected greatly by extraterrestrial momentum, as for opening up the dimensions, as for the angelic. It is possible, and many were successful with it. And many of these higher beings that were involved with it lost their lives during that. But they like sacrificing themselves, allowing human and angel to evolve, to merge also. They did many experimentations. You'd be surprised of how successful this was. But Marcy, the human with the wings also was created. A bird-like human came from this war. Understand, this is one version of it. There are others. But also that where star systems greatly affected by the Orion energies. As Orion, some in Orion wish to, you can say, be leader of your universe, you can say. You have this control over it to some degree. And during the Orion Wars, many, it's like you can say, similar to your Nazi Germany to some degree. Not exactly, but it was expansion, as for some within Orion was to brainwash other systems, other star systems, into being indoctrinated by the Orion way. It was a way of having Orion be more of a control over their star system, or what happened, who goes there. Much of this was done by not by the Orion Council, but a certain handful of beings that wanted to use the power of Orion for their own needs. And many angels are very much affected by this. Many did go into dark, many went into white, many no longer exist after that. It was that Orion Wars is another way of taking over star systems and sometimes consuming them in a way of where they no longer exist if they not go by what they were told to do. That was not successful, but many are trying to make it successful. But what was going on with the angels of Orion was emerging angelic energies with human and other species to create another species altogether. So it's another way of creating a higher dimensional being by using DNA. And some are very successful with that. Some are human-like birds came out of this.
Like the blue avians,
Yes.
like sloth, for example.
Yes. Yes. Yes, many humanoid beings are created out of this. Many with wings, many with not. And partly also was the human energy was, yes, being merged with other species, canine, reptilian. That was another way of merging the human with other species. That was part of it. It was like forcing the human form into a species that didn't want nothing to do with it, but they wanted to control that species and they're unsuccessful with it. So a lot of the meaning, what I'm saying is that much of the Orion Wars had something to do with the human form, wishing to exploit it, you could say, to take it and control it, where the winners wanted nothing to do with that. So it was a human versus animal, you can say. It was, in some ways, it was some beings wanted to wipe out the human race altogether on other star systems because it was becoming the way it was being used. This has not been said, I do not believe, before. If you have any questions.
So, did this merging of bird and human, this is a dumb question, did this create our angels?
Some of them, yes. The ones that you can see in more of your density, the depiction of them, yes, came from that, yes.
Oh.
Not all of it. They were already angels with wings, but it became more of a thing. There were a few, but many did not have wings. Many angels before that had no wings, had no reason for it. But during this creation, yes, many began to depict themselves as with wings, as because many were stalking your planet, you could say. They were many among them, in a higher density, but many were actually seen as a being with wings on your planet, physically seen. But sometimes not for very long. It depends on the being. But yes, it had much to do with the Orion Wars, yes. That was during your biblical times, yes.
And these serpentoid, humanoid beings, would they be like the Nagas by any chance?
Yes.
Oh. A lot of these Nagas are seen as, well, it's a combination, but like really spiritual beings in some.
Yes, they are. They are. Yes. They can be. They're a lot more tame than your reptilians. Yes, they are very, very kind. They are very spiritual. They're very loving beings. Of course, on your planet is, for some, it's difficult to see that, but yes, they are.
So in some cases, this was a major positive.
Yes.
Like for the Chinese, it's like the dragons, and in Mexico, it's Quetzalcoatl, and
yes,
and there's the snake goddess somewhere.
The snake energy is, it's of love. It is. It's like it can surround you with affection. Of course, it can surround you with. It can be lethal also. They can also be very motherly and very loving also. So it has both sides of good and evil, you can say. And the vibration of your planet does increase negativity, as you can see. So many of these beings are seen as vicious, but many are not in other realities. But here they are because of your dimension you are in at this time.
Yeah, pretty sure because they're on the defensive and they feel like they're might be provoked or something.
Well, yes, many creatures on your planet are afraid of humans. This is why they lash out at humans, because they know how you are. Your human here has not fully understood the animal energies. They don't know how to speak to them. So you treat them as animals, but they are family, but they're not seen that way. So they have to protect themselves. They have to do what they have to do. Until your humanity awakens to that.
So what is it about humanity that many other ETs want to toy around with our energy?
They want to reach where you are DNA. The DNA of your planet, yes, is of royalty. It is of a uniqueness that is not seen on any star system, as far as I know. Not at this. Your DNA makes you royalty, but the way you act is unroyal. But understood, because you are not aware of your surroundings. You're going to act like a child if you're not able to grow up. It's difficult to grow up in this environment. But many do not let you grow up. When you want to know more, but many just call it fantasy, when it is not fantasy at all. That's for alien elementals. So many do not want to grow up on your planet. But it is fine. It is quite understood. But many extraterrestrials wish to reach your DNA capacity, but without having to reincarnate here. They are trying to duplicate what is here somewhere else. They are constantly doing that. Your greys, all your species have been trying to accomplish it and being mostly unsuccessful. And there are other worlds where they're trying the same thing. As for seeding other worlds and trying to master it again. And they have been quite successful, but not at this degree. Many Palladian worlds have been made similar to this one, but not in this type of darkness, though. Yale also is monitoring those worlds also, because they know this one very well.
So when you say royalty in our DNA, for example, was special, like what about it makes it royalty? Is it that we have free will, or what is it exactly?
Emotions and this type of DNA of so many different species.
Oh, okay.
So many that you're not aware of. Many are not going to make themselves aware. You have to be aware.
Are we one of the few zoo planets?
Yes. Well, yes, your human has more. It is an experiment that has been quite successful. As for the power of your race, it is very powerful. And many fear that power because you don't understand how to use it. Your Atlantis is a good example of that, of your Atlanteans having too much power and not be able to handle it and destroying themselves. Some of them did it on purpose, of course. On this, because you're self-destructive. Much of that is Anunnaki. Done very well. But yes, you are very Anunnaki, and this Anunnaki is quite unique on this planet because you're like a nicer version of Anunnaki. Yes, you might not be nice to each other, but you're getting there. You're going to be harsh because it's a harsh upbringing, so you're going to be harsh to each other. It's quite understandable. If you have all the knowledge if you had more knowledge of what you're going through, of your aliens, there's a good chance that you will be more peaceful with each other, but it's difficult for aliens to connect in this world. Your world has to be willing to be open to a more peaceful connection. As for aliens, many do not believe they have spirit guides or angels. This is how far you are off. The more they recognize that and begin to at least acknowledge it, that shows that you're ready to know more about yourself. And that's when the growing up process. That's when you age quicker and your powers become more known. But many call that all fantasy. Your spirit guides and your heaven, they call that all fantasy. So they have a long time to go.
All the stuff that is true.
Yes, they call it fantasy. They'd rather be materialistic than know about themselves, which is fine. There's part of the upbringing here. Much it has to do with fear, yes.
So we do have a lot of programmings, and then we're constantly under attack via, if it's not our food, it's like in our water, yes. And then these negative electromagnetic frequencies, the list goes on. So if we're just talking from the standpoint of just ridding ourselves or trying to rid ourselves of the pollution that just, inundates us all the time, like what would you recommend to reduce that so that we can connect better?
Belief systems need to change. And all these other things will go away. You have a choice to believe what you want, which is fine. But your angelic realms are alive and well. Your elementals are real. When you have a understanding of your guides, you speak to your guides. You might not hear them, but that's okay. At least you're aware of that. A spiritual, maturity is a good word for you. And when you have that, then these other things do not matter anymore. They go away. These poisoning your food and all this, you will find a way to rid of it. You will just know. You know how to keep yourself healthy. Your body, you can heal yourself. Even if you consume yourself with this, you can still release it. And you do not.
The energy.
It is like your planet. Many of your world are putting on the blindfold willingly. And that is fine. Because they are not ready. When they become ready, they will take their blindfold off one by one. Some of them are here and there. Some wish to be programmed daily by your society because they want to learn from it. They want to know what all this is. They want to Netflix and be part of the job circuit and be told what to do. And they want to experience these things. They don't want to let them go. Like, I want to experience this. Don't leave me alone. I want to know about my spirit guides. I want to go on vacation to the Bahamas. So it has a lot of, when the soul is ready to acknowledge that your angels are here, your spirit guides, those of your loved ones. When your loved one dies, realize they're usually standing right next to you after they pass over. Yes, they might be going into the light, but they're still right next to you, sending you love. And many are not ready for that. So once they are ready for that, then all these other things, controls, will fade away when your numbers increase. Yes, go ahead.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the wars in Orion. A lot of people are really interested in this. They're really interested in their past lives in Orion and just their lives during the wars in Orion, not just the planet itself. Is there any commentary you'd like to discuss with us about that?
There's different types of wars in Orion. There's several different kinds. It's like when you have a world war, you have different wars in different places. Some beings had technologies where they can wipe off, have a alien body disintegrate. Many reptilians use those type of equipment. Some to drain the energies of planets and to maybe not destroy them within. There's many beings that had many of their own. Yes, it was chaos in your space. Yes. And many of them incarnated here to get away from it, and they brought a lot of their karma with them, causing war, causing depression, where disease, where they could have avoided it. They did not know what to do. Many were in shock. So coming here thinking that they could be safe ended up being the exact opposite, causing more harm than good for many of your species. It is, yes, there's different types of wars of many kinds.
And why did these start? What was the precipice?
Part of it has to do with certain species want to suppress parts of the universe for their own doing, for their own benefit. Some of them were Orion beings. Some of them were not, but were posing as Orion beings. And much of this manipulation has been seen on your world also. As your world is being manipulated, they went to Orion and did the same thing. You could say Anunnaki and Reptilian were very good at manipulating humans. So they did that in Orion also and were very successful with it. And they did not know, Orion's never dealt with something like that. So they had a wake-up call. Where your reptilians and Anunnaki were appearing as Orions and causing anarchy. With those that they can cause it with. With those that already saw what they were doing, they moved away from them quickly. The weaker souls they went to and manipulated them. So this became larger and larger over time. There's different versions of the Orion Wars. That is what.
Well, I know that a lot of people feel like they have like past lives to release from the wars in Orion,
Yes.
but then they also want to identify with like Orion beings because it's just, I mean, I think part of it is like you're in our stars.
Yes.
There's Orion belts, and it's
Yes.
like a lot of another like magical thoughts in our heads and stuff.
Many that were.
What are Orion beings like?
Many are insectoid, many are humanoid, many are. One way of looking at it is you can look at your spirit, your I'm looking for an example here on your planet. Your Caesar's Palace, I like that one.
Uh-huh.
Picture it like that, but much larger. Without the gambles. And you have different beings coming in as you do in your Las Vegas is one example. You have different races in and out of that place. Some come and stay, some leave, some do this and that. You have government. Think of that as a place of that as your Orion. You have insectoids. You have different every type of being you can think of. It has been there. They can create their own Orion race there if they wish of insectoid or whatever it is. It's different. It's vast, very large, and very loving and accepting of all beings. But during that war, it was very small actually before the war. After the war, it became very large. That's one way of looking at it.
Now, I have a question about our different pyramids.
Yes.
throughout our planet. I understand that they all line up with Orion's belts now. I wonder if you wanted to talk about that.
That should let you know who was here. And Orion Energies was here. And a large number, many of the Orions were here as protectors, but they did see our planet turn into, they went in their own direction. And going in their own direction gave many Orions reason to leave. But many are still here in your government systems. Your U.S. government, your shadow government, many of those are Orions, reincarnated as humans. And they don't mention your shadow government talks to the Orions all the time. But many Orions that were during the Orion War were in your Syria at this time. They go to war zones because they know it well. They have not let go of war. They see war as all they know. So many still incarnate in war. They feel like they can assist with it or cause it, or some beings only know war. So they reincarnate into worlds where they can find war. And here you have much, at least in your Syria at this time.
So they feel like they have unfinished business.
Yes.
And Syria and Iraq, I mean, that was your Sumerian areas, and I understand it's like heavy Anunnaki areas as well.
Yes, and Anunnaki is usually seen also by certain beings. You can find your Anunnaki. If you ever go there, you will feel their presence, depending on who you are. And some might say you do not want you here. It depends on what your business is there. Just what you will know. But your Orions play a large part in your world and keeping it balanced. The Galactic Federation of Light is it is not as large as your Orion Council. Your Orion Council is much larger. And not so, at least in that regard. Yes, go ahead.
So what is the best way to connect to the Orion Council if you want to do that, or is that just a select few?
Yes. You can call on our energies anytime. Your meditation, whatever you feel comfortable with. Give a shout out to us. We will hear you.
I like that you're using our language.
Yes.
Our lingo.
Yes.
Really good. So, in a healing perspective, if one were to connect to the beings of Orion, what kind of healing would we be, I guess, grabbing from them, for lack of better words, or lending from them?
The healing. To realize that you are much more than just human. You are a galactic being. And the healing will, most likely you will see an insectoid type energy around you. Many have insectoid lifetimes. In this insectoid lifetime, I realize you become more galactic feeling, more alien. Maybe not alien, but feeling like you are connected to the stars, wherein you are now. Right now, many are connected to their material possessions and their problems. It's fine. But you can be connected to so much more. And many are not ready for that. They will be.
And do you have any messages for our humanity before we close?
Yes, to be yourself. Don't let anyone tell you what to be. If you need to be angry or whatever it is, you need to be human, be human. If you want to be a galactic human, be that too. But if you want to not connect to the alien energies, it's fine. Because there's so much here that is serving you, is fulfilling you so much. It's not for us to take that away from you. So this is why your world takes some time for it to finally just let go of the human ways. Well, you will be a more advanced human, less controlled, more understanding, more positive, but just more connected to nature and your universe. Where they find that entertaining instead of what is seen on your televisions. But it's a stepping stone. It is steps. For a world that has this much going on, it is quite understandable it's at the state it is now. It needs to be where it is now. It is, yes, there's much manipulations here, but we cannot. That's none of our business. But it is, many can let go of that if they wish, and if not, that's fine. But as for humanity too, just be yourself, that's all. Whatever it might be.
Thank you very much for your time.
Anytime.
And I hope you visit us soon off the Deepend at least.
Anytime. Oh, yes. I'll be happy to connect. Much love to you.
Much love to you. Thank you so much.
Well,
welcome back.
thank you.
How do you feel?
Yeah, that was yeah, very strange. Just very insectoid-like, but yeah, I did.
Insectoid.
I see human. Yeah, I saw humans being merged with angels. It's really weird. I don't know what that was. I did see that. I mean, I can kind of see how they were doing it. Not really, but they were. I don't know what that is, but anyway.
Yeah, he was explaining about how they take humans and like put wings on them and things like that. I was like, oh, is that how they created angels? And he said, well, the angels existed already, but I guess with their angels, there was an alien energy, and then they merged them or something.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The actual angels somehow, and
well, what I'm getting, yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't think angels really had wings in the beginning. You know, they don't really had a reason for it, but
they came in vogue or something.
Yeah, they were just fallen angels. You can say with the wing-like beings people saw them, and then just. It was depicted not all of them were bad, a lot of them were good, so that was one way of getting humans' attention. So an angel would appear, it would be with wings. There's more to it than that, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because he was explaining about how those beings were visible to us, you know, as opposed to, I guess, actual angels.
Yeah, it is.
Not readily visible.
What I'm getting is, like the bird was seen as like the supreme alien at one time because they can fly and they're just like the hawk. You know, you don't mess with the hawks or the eagles. You don't mess with these guys, and they're just. There's more to it, but it was like we're seeing now is well as the big. As royalty or whatever you want to call it now.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. He was saying that basically they were, I guess the ETs in them were the ones who created like beings like Thoth, you know, like the bird being that's in Egyptian history, and like other things like that. Like the Nagas came from them, you know. So I was like, wow, they created a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of
It's really interesting. Why are you laughing? Is it just, are they still around?
It's crazy, yeah. It's just, I mean, I'm giving us bits and pieces of what's going on. I mean, what I've, before I did this interview, or for a while, I've been feeling, you know, most of the universe is animal-like, and then the humans showed up and kind of changed everything. You know, it was all wildlife.
Oh, yeah.
It was all wildlife until the human popped in and, you know, changed the show.
What is this about?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's pick it apart and mix it up and see what we get.
Exactly. So I don't know. Anyway.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, really. Anyway.
Well, Ivan, hate to say goodbye, but thanks for being with us once again. And before we conclude, can you tell our listeners where to find you?
Oh yeah, it's you go to ivanteller.com, or you go to YouTube and search Ivan Teller. You'll find information. I'm also have iPhone and Android app. Just go to those the phone apps and just type Ivan Teller, and I do private sessions and webinars throughout the week. So thank you.
And you have t-shirts too.
I have t-shirts too. Yep.
Okay.
Got it
Thanks
all.
for being here once again, Ivan.
All right.
And thank you to my listeners for listening to another segment of Off the Deep End. Tune in, and we're going to have more evening from Ivan. So have a nice night.
All right. Good night.